Well, hello. I tell you, in this particular information ecosystem, with all of these channels and all of these people who have real expert opinions, or just, how would you say, opinions, they're analyzing the data, combing through the data, following the science, and everybody's just got different things to recommend for us. We all get the jab, but that mutates the virus so that we're in this terrible situation where we need new vaccines every 10 minutes. They call it prophylactic use of vaccines, but I thought that's what vaccines were, a prophylactic. You take the measles vaccine so you don't get the measles. Or perhaps if you take the corona vaccine, it just makes, if you get infected, it's just not as bad. Or maybe it prevents you from getting infected. Or if it doesn't, it just keeps you out of the hospital or whatever. But they say now, you can't do that because it's going to cause all kinds of problems. We're jumping the gun. But if you don't vaccinate everybody, then the coronavirus just runs wild around the world, becomes endemic, and all these mutated, evolving strains of the virus just go haywire wild. And then we need corona shots every year, different ones for all the different strains, like flu shots. I mean, I just don't get it. Lockdown, don't lock down. Natural immunity versus enhanced immunity from having a vaccine. Everybody is just weighing in, and they're all so smart, and they're all so good at following the science. And if you look at the scientific consensus from scientific doctors and scientific researchers and scientific virologists and so on, forget the policy people. As if we could ever follow any policy that made sense. Coordinate around the world to follow policy. That'll never happen. Too many moneyed interests. Too many stubborn ideologues. So we're stuck there. And every jurisdiction is going to be different around the world. And viruses don't discriminate. But anyway, it's just so completely confusing that if anyone turns on anything to learn about anything, they're going to get confused. And that'll make them more nervous. It'll piss them off because they'll think things are unfair. They'll think they're being screwed over by the man. And they will, they're just going to feel sicker. It's just not helping. None of it's helping. And if people did understand where the scientific consensus comes from and what the doctors and scientists are saying, and that it's nuanced, it's not black and white, it's complicated, it's complex. And if we could all just agree to stay a course, any course, and have faith in it, like Nietzsche's God is dead kind of faith, if we could all be collectively ubermensches and say, well, there's a truth a conditional truth, an evolving truth, and we have a plan, and we're going to stick to the plan, have faith in the plan, and see where it leads us, and maybe change the plan. But it's confusing and sickening. So I don't know what to say. You delve into it at your own risk. I know masks and lockdowns are not necessary. And we're killing more people by implementing restrictions and mask wearing than the virus could ever kill. And the 500 or 600,000 people in the United States who have apparently died because of catching this virus. Hey, look, that's just cost of doing business. People are going to die of something. It's like heart transplants. Why? It's so expensive. Just to give somebody an extra year or two, put them through all that chemotherapy, fight that cancer. Why? People are going to die. People die. Something's going to kill you. And some of us think, I'll take the 2 years. I want my mom around for another 2 years. That would be nice. Kind of love the girl. But we're confused. And who's going to climb that Daniel Schmachtenberger sense-making pathway up the mountain to get that clear, crisp view of reality? Because it takes work, it takes effort, and you still have to know who you can trust. So you have to dust off that bullshit detector kit and get busy finding out who you can trust. And first of all, you have to trust yourself, but you can't do it in an arrogant way. You have to mind your epistemological humility and realize that you might get things wrong, and maybe next week you'll understand things better without getting too nervous and stressed out about everything. And all of this is happening in a cultural atmosphere where we have wokeness and cancel culture and all kinds of political correctness to deal with. Pins and needles, my friends. Pins and needles. You're walking on eggshells. You're all like brittle-boned hemophiliacs and shit. One little pinprick and you could bleed to death. You're fired for your opinion. Freedom of speech. What freedom of speech? I want to point back to some era in history where things weren't fucked up. But I do have to admit that things are fucked up today in a completely new and novel way. And I don't think there's a vaccination for that. A fucked up culture? How do you fix that shit? How do you do the policy on that? You now say, Makaranai, Shiranai. No sabe. I don't know. It's a mess. Breathe. Amuse yourself. Do some projects. And definitely dust off that bullshit detector kit. And do try to climb that sense-making mountain. And learn how to discover who you can trust. And trust yourself provisionally, but know that you might get things wrong, and next week you might know better. And then be patient with one another. Show a little compassion and empathy. And kind of root for everybody to make it, to get by, to succeed, to thrive. What's wrong with that? And perhaps, bit by bit, we can do a little bit better next time. Because if we don't learn from these mistakes that this wonderful opportunity with this nasty, dirty, stinky virus has brought us, then we're truly screwed in the future, my friends. And I know time doesn't exist. I know change doesn't exist because we all live in the moment. But come on, get real. You know what I'm talking about. Okay, folks. William T. out.